adoption of the agenda.
Move.
Second.
On adoption, all those in favor? Motion's carried. No delegations, minutes, or departmental reports. We do have a couple staff reports. First one is related to repealing a number of old bylaws. And the recommendation from CAO is that bylaw 1729 be forwarded to council for first, second, and third reading.
I'll move that.
Second.
On discussion on that. Tom and Barbara.
You know, several years ago, I thought I had a good idea. It didn't go anywhere at council, and that was that every time we bring in a new bylaw, we should drop an old one, and that way it's going to keep our bylaws fresh. And you know, in this way, going through all our bylaws and then digging these out, it's obviously somebody's put in a lot of work into this. And I think if we adopted a policy like that, it would just help us do this on an ongoing basis. I don't know if there's any interest around this.
Is that like when I buy a new pair of shoes, I gotta throw the old one?
Exactly, or you end up with a whole closet full.
Yeah.
And we got a whole closet full of bylaws.
Yeah. What, are you making a motion of that, or?
Well, that's
Our
Barbara.
motion.
Oh,
So
sorry.
I just wanted to throw it out for discussion.
Well, CEO can maybe respond to the house cleaning exercise thing.
Well, we normally try, if we bring in a new bylaw, we try and ensure there's repeal language to repeal old ones. And some of these just end up sitting on the shelf and they don't have anything associated with them.
But what I'm talking about, it could be completely unrelated. It doesn't. It just has to be a bylaw.
Yeah.
Has to be thrown out when a new one comes in. Anybody.
Okay. Shelley, any further comments?
I was just going to add that it's a lot easier to maintain and keep these bylaws current now because we do have an ongoing database of all the bylaws that's searchable. So that when we do adopt new bylaws, we definitely make sure that we search for all old bylaws that are still existing and we do repeal those ones. So it's a lot easier to keep it current.
Well, this will catch us up to year 2000.
It's up to current.
Up to current, okay.
So there may be no need for what I'm talking about. Okay.
No, I mean, I think it's always good to make sure that we get rid of the old ones. It's quite interesting to see, going back to 1948, what municipalities, local governments were looking at over the years and until current time. So, Barbara?
Yes, and I found it historically very interesting too, when we were a village and then we became a town. And I was just wondering about the last one, the Comox Heritage and Culture Advisory Committee bylaw. I know it hasn't been active for quite a long time, but I'm just thinking if we are getting into heritage more, if we ever did want to do a heritage registry, would something like this be useful? I know at the time when the Museum, Archives and Museum Society formed, the group figured that there was overlap and it was disbanded. But they are very distinct, so unless the Archives and Museum takes on those functions of the wider, the built environment rather than the recording of history, I'm just wondering whether there would be a hole. That was just
Well, certainly council can establish committees from time to time, either standing or select committees. So.
Shelley also found information on this. There was disbandment of
It was
this
formally
was the direction
disbanded.
of council.
Yeah.
So this was just following through.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay.
I think it was a recommendation from the Heritage Advisory Committee itself that was then endorsed by council.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Catching up on that.
Thank you.
So if we're getting rid of the bylaw that says we're not allowed to dump or store logs on the boulevards, are we going to be able to start doing that again? Just wondered. No, it's interesting to read in there all the, there's a lot of stuff about downtown and shop openings and closings and hours and times and you know, it's interesting that we go around in that circle, you know, and still an issue, right? So, but not really our place to be telling them when they should do it.
And I think our log dumping is covered under our street traffic.
Oh, okay.
So we still say
I
that
still
your log
can't do
dumping.
it, all right.
Anything further? So if this passes, that will go forward to council on June 6th for first, second, and third reading. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Second staff report is from our Director of Finance regarding police and resource requests, and a motion to receive staff report and invite the new attachment commander and future committee of the whole.
Moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Director of Finance, any further to add? And we're awaiting word when the new attachment commander is here, so I imagine that probably won't take place until the fall. So we'll do that. All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. We have correspondence to receive from the Marks Valley Regional District.
So moved.
Second.
Receipt, all those in favor? Motion's carried. According to that correspondence, this is a regional district resolution that was adopted March 27th. This report will be referred to assess member municipalities' ongoing participation in service. So, yes, perhaps Councillor Tom, you would like to give us some context for that?
Well, basically, the regional district's looking for about $300,000 to set aside in the reserve fund to review the RGS over the next 4 years. And I can tell you that at budget time, it was really quite contentious at the regional district board level, because it seemed like a lot of money just to review a document that is so really fresh. And it passed by the narrowest of margins, by the way, so there's still a lot of dissension around the table, because it just seems like a lot of money to review in such a very short period of time.
Was that at all to do with any implementation steps, or was it just?
Well, there's still a couple implementation steps to do the consultation with KFN and what was the other one? It just escapes me at the moment. But it just seems, I don't know. It's been adopted by the regional district, so I shouldn't be criticizing it too much. But it seems like a lot of money.
As everyone around this table hopefully knows, we have within our community plan adopted a regional context statement that has been approved by the CDRD as part of the regional growth strategy. So we've met that implementation requirement here. CEO, anything further to add at this time?
Other than, from a staff perspective, our focus is still, we see somewhere in the future that the implementation agreements still haven't been done yet, and that was part of the outcomes of the regional growth strategy. So we're waiting for some information before we proceed on that. And other than that, at a staff level, I know there are still ongoing discussions, more informal in the planning department about the regional growth strategy and how it's applied. But other than that, we still see our participation active as it stands.
Okay. Any further? Okay.
So, you know, I have struggled over this $300,000 for a 5-year review. I mean, that's almost a full-time staff person just doing the regional growth strategy, which seems like a lot. Is there any, like at the next budget, is this going to come up again, or is this pretty much a done deal at the RD level?
Well,
I'm not sure. The process
I
is.
assume that, like our budgets, they review them every year, and I guess will depend on what the regional district does with the budget process next year. The information that's in this report was delivered presumably as part of that.
It's part of the 5-year plan.
Part of the 5-year plan. So, and I guess there were comparables for other communities, Nanaimo and so on and so forth. So it will remain a work in progress, I guess.
Okay. It's, you know, to me, I mean, it's not for us to debate tonight, but it just seems like an awful lot of money to me. You know, to have a guy full-time doing just that, like, it makes you wonder what he's going to be doing all the time.
Yeah, it looks like
So
for,
it's $60,000 a year.
for 2012, their resources would appear as 0.35 of an FTE, which is a quarter of the executive manager's long-range planning and 10% of the policy analyst time. So, anyway, I guess we've received it and we'll see how it goes, unless there's anything further.
So this $300,000 that's gone into a reserve fund for when the review comes up? Is that what the situation is? Or is this partly money that is the annual cost of monitoring and implementing?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, but CEO or Councillor Tom.
My understanding is that there's so much money per year in the 5-year plan that
Okay.
came to the total of around 300.
Oh, okay. So this is over 5 years.
That's right.
Because, I mean, reading the report, it looks like we are, doing pretty well in keeping costs down on the regional growth strategy. I mean, compared to Nanaimo, which they started theirs many, many years ago, or maybe it's because they are more into a review process. But we certainly seem to be in line, if not below, what similar regional districts are doing. So, I mean, there is always a cost of doing business, and I personally believe that the regional growth strategy is a very important document, and it's the guiding document for the Comox Valley. And when you read the minister's letter, she really points out that when she congratulates us on completing it, she does point out that it is a living document, and that we must establish monitoring programs with annual reporting to track the progress and to help determine through periodic reviews if amendments are necessary. So, it's definitely clearly stated that it's an ongoing process, and that we all need to work together through the regional district on it. So what a 0.3 of a staff person between all of us is, in a way, a small price to pay. And particularly the minister, when she congratulated us on completing it, she did say that she directed us to prepare it. It was a response to the rapid growth facing the region and the need to protect the unique character and value feature of the Comox Valley area. So, I mean, I think that it's certainly something that we want to continue to protect. So, but it was good to get the report. It's interesting when they come across the table, and certainly appreciated reading it.
Okay. Any further? As I say, no specific direction required by CEO, just allowing us to have that information.
Correct.
All right, so that's that. Nothing else to come before the meeting tonight. Motion to adjourn would be in order.
Move.
All in favor? That's carried.